all, and welcome back to another thrilling episode of Off the Dome. I'm your humble interviewer, Jordan Brown, and with me for the very first time is our insectoid influencer. Say hi, insectoid influencer.
Hi.
I know it's more than just insectoids. You don't have to correct me right out the gate, but I needed a word, and I couldn't come up with a B. It was going to be bugs something, and I couldn't come up with what the B was.
You do know me well enough that internally I was, tempted to, but...
Yeah. Yeah, because, arachnids aren't insectoids, or are? I don't know how bugs work.
They're a different family. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, but anyway, hello, Nicole. How are you?
I am fantastic. I don't know how I got here doing this, but I am honored.
Hey, you're an absolute delight, and we're here recording this 6 days before TikTok is banned. Perfect timing.
Yes.
I can't wait for the platform I have the biggest influence on to go away.
Adventure.
Adventure.
Yep.
Big opening question for you.
Okay.
Have you ever visited the Limberlost Swamp in Indiana?
Okay, so, I love the Limberlost. Okay, I haven't actually ever visited there. I almost went last year, but then things fell through, so I wasn't able to. But someday I am, because the book Girl of the Limberlost, favorite book. It's what introduced me to raising and preserving insects. My mom was reading it out loud while, I would just line things up on the floor, and every time she fell asleep, I would just, shoot her with a blowgun and then keep her reading. And I was like, wow, this is great. So yes, one day I really, really want to go visit there.
Amazing. I certainly, it has to happen, right? If you're to the Indiana Tourist Board, that's got to be a thing, right? Get Nicole to Limberlost.
No, I've already started talking to them and being like, hey, I'm pulling the autism card. Why not? And just be like, you want an autistic girl that loves insects in to help preserve this swamp? Just give me a free tour. So yeah. I'm trying to make friends with all those people.
Yeah, that's very smart. So you are, I know I said insectoid, but bugs, you obviously have a wall o' bugs behind you.
Yes.
I think one of the things that you're known for on TikTok and the internet generally, your deep love of bugs. It seems like it did start with Limberlost, but as an adult, which to clarify, because this seems like a question that comes up a lot, you are an adult.
Yeah. I am 28 years old, even though I still get the free pony rides for looking young, but it's great.
So how did this happen? The wall of bugs, people just send you bugs.
Yeah. Well, before I started TikTok, I've been collecting insects since I was 3. So before TikTok, I had 500 specimens, which is a lot. But then they were like, wow, we can send you bugs and you'll tell us facts about them. This is amazing. So then it just didn't stop, and I'm almost to 3,000 specimens now. So it's a lot. It's great. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's what TikTok is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Thank goodness Congress has stepped in to make sure that we can't get bugs anymore.
Yeah.
One of the other things, the thing that I think you first came across my FYP was for a fancy bag. You unboxing things with unbridled joy. Which I think became a very popular series for you.
It did. It got to a level that I had to pull back a little bit, because I'm like, I can't spend 24 hours opening packages, but I did appreciate it. It's a fun time. It's pretty great. Although the only bad thing is I have a hard time controlling my reactions. So if I'm really confused about something, it really shows. So then sometimes people are like, oh, you were not that excited about that.
Yeah, I could see that being the case.
Yeah.
But to be fair, people might send you a box of, I'm going to say macaroni and cheese, although it may not have ever been one, but a box of food.
Yeah.
And you were thrilled to get it.
I am. expensive. I'm thrilled to get food.
Yeah.
And autism food is pretty easy, so people usually guess very well.
Yeah. Yeah. What? So that is sort of the other. I don't want to say other half, but other like part of the big part of your brand identity, at least.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, not you as a person,
Yes.
is like talking about autism and like tools that you use. It's I have to imagine incredibly helpful for people seeing your content of like, oh, identifying with it and like finding tools that they can use and all those things.
Yeah, well, finding the tools myself was like a really long process. So I was like, if I can make it easier and just be like, here are tools I use, and so people don't have to do that, then that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you have some really cool things like a sensory swing that is I mean, looks like a bug cocoon. Is that what drew to you in the first place, or?
Okay, yes. It started, okay, when I was very little. I grew up and our basement was not finished. So we just had the rafters. And I was like, I like bugs. I want to feel like a caterpillar. So we just hung up like a bunch of blankets and I would crawl inside. Me and my brother would make cocoons. And I was like, this feels amazing. I don't know why, but this is incredible. And then I discovered sensory swings and I was like, oh, I shall continue doing this a little bit safer and not just tying blankets to a rafter, but it was great.
Amazing. All right. Well, look, we need this. I feel like this is going to be a thing that like we should just pepper randomly into the interview, where I just ask you for a bug fact.
Oh, yes.
So go nuts.
Well, I have to start out with the ribs with cicadas because that's like my first go-to fact. So cicadas, the males make their sound so they have a special organ called the tibia, which is a thin membrane with a thin set of ribs, and they're able to flex this membrane, clicking the ribs together 400 times per second. And then they have hollow chambers in their abdomen that amplify the sound like the body of a drum. And each species, the chambers actually have a slightly different shape, which is why the species sound like a little bit different from each other, which is pretty cool. But there is one species of cicadas that actually can get up to 80 decibels, which is louder than a chainsaw. And they are the loudest insect, and it's incredible.
So my watch warns me, I think at 90 decibels, that it's like, hey, it's too loud where you're at. That's wild that cicadas can be that loud. I know you also. So one of the other things that I wanted to make sure we plug, because you're going in for surgery soon.
Yes,
and
on Wednesday.
American Healthcare. Yes, and we had discussed doing this post-surgery so that you were just like doped up and just like rambling incoherently, which I thought would have been fun, but probably not an appropriate interview.
Yes.
But the American healthcare system is a nightmare.
Yep.
You sell art of bugs. Where can people tell us about your art?
I paint insects, not actually. Okay, a lot of times when I say I paint insects, people assume I paint on actual insects. I do paintings of the insects, which is pretty great. I also sculpt insects and other arthropods, and I sell in galleries, but I mostly sell through my art website, which you can find through most links in my social media accounts. You
can just say it. It's fine. You can say the art website.
Yeah, the art website.
You can say the URL if you wanted to say it.
It's just Nicole Parrish Art. Yeah. Pretty great.
You paint a lot. So I have a Patreon that, like, one of the things that I do before any interview, I'm like, hey, did people have questions for the person I'm going to be interviewing? And someone wanted to know about your art. If you had, if there was a surprisingly popular bug that people request art for.
My most popular insects are bumblebees and dragonflies. I get a lot of requests for those, which bumblebees make sense. Like, they look like fuzzy pom-poms. A lot of people love them. But, like, the dragonflies was a little more surprising. I'm like, but, yeah.
You're not a dragonfly person?
No, I love dragonflies. I just was surprised that would be, like, more popular than, like, butterflies.
Yeah.
For the public. But talking about dragonflies, a really cool dragonfly called a global skimmer that has the ability to fly across the Indian Ocean and it eats shrimp.
That seems impossibly big.
Right? It's so cool. Well, they eat the really little shrimp, but they're really cool.
Yeah. Is it one of those like? Is it like? Because I know there's some birds that like lock their wings so that they can glide. Is it that kind of thing? Like,
They
how do
do
they
have the
fly?
ability to hover, which is pretty
Okay.
cool because the the flight mechanics of dragonflies are really wacky and unique. So they can fly like any direction. They can hover. It's pretty cool.
I love it. Do we have one locked and loaded for bumblebees as well?
Bumblebees have 2 stomachs and 5 eyes.
That's too many of both of those things.
A lot of insects have 5 eyes because they have the 2 compound eyes and then 3 what's called oculi eyes, which mostly detect light. So, like for a lot of insects, it helps protect them from like predators from overhead or birds, detect the sun. But yeah.
Fair enough. I'm like mildly allergic to bumblebee stings, I
Ooh.
think, because I've been stung by bumblebees and like the area swells up around it. And they hurt a lot, and I don't care for it. I would like bees to stop stinging me.
That would be nice. I've yet to be stung, so
They know you're a good one. They're not afraid of you. They're I don't I shouldn't say that. I've never attacked a
my
bumblebee. I've just been walking past one and it decided I was a nuisance.
my theory, which I already know is not true, but I still like to think it, is my stimming. They they interpret it as they're dancing. So I don't know what I'm saying to them, but I'm saying something.
Yeah. This was actually the first time we texted. You sent me a bee dancing fact,
Yes.
which is bees dance, which I didn't know at all, but very specifically, they only some bees understand the dances.
Yeah, so the worker bees will go and find like where pollen is, come back and do a little dance, which is how they tell the other bees where the pollen is, but only other worker bees will understand what the dance is. The other bees are just like, that bee is jiving over there.
Incredible. I don't understand how that works, but that's
It's so
amazing.
cool.
Um, Speaking of stimming, one of the other things that you talk about on your channel a lot is I feel it's like authenticity is like a really important part of
Hmm.
your channel, of not like beating down the things that make you you.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things that like makes you you is this excitement over and many things,
Yes.
but like that reaction of stimming, and that like you're a strong proponent of stimming. Why do you like? I don't want to say like why is it important to you, because I understand, but like, can you talk about like the importance of it?
Like stimming itself or like just being yourself?
Either.
'Cause like stimming can be very helpful for like especially for me being autistic with like processing sensory input in my environment and regulating my nervous system. So kind of holding that in it can feel a little painful, but it's almost like a natural response, like someone laughing or smiling to a joke and them trying to not laugh or smile. Uh, so it can be really helpful that way. Of course, autism is a disability, so sometimes the stimming can get harmful or to an extreme, but in general, it's been really helpful for me.
Yeah, that's great. And obviously, like authenticity. I think most people think it's important to be authentic. I think
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons why like my channel landed and did like decently well. Your channel has done explosively well. I think it's because people see you, and to a lesser extent me, of like just like genuinely caring about a thing
Uh
and
huh.
excited about a thing. And like, is it like how has it been for you to have that experience of like finding not even a community of fellow bug lovers, but just like people who are like, I love that you're excited about a thing.
It's been really great. A surprising amount of my followers are actually terrified of insects, but they're like, your excitement makes me tolerate them. And I'm like, this is great. But it's been really fun finding like a community, especially because socializing is really tricky for me to navigate, like in the real world meet space. So then having TikTok, being able to socialize kind of just in my own space and in my own time, and being able to navigate that way and have people find people who are also excited about the same things and are happy to share in my excitement has been really, really fun.
Yeah, super fun. Yeah, I one of the things I there are a lot of bugs that I really don't like. I will like cockroaches are horrifying, and I know you don't feel that way.
Okay, but are you thinking about like the invasive species of cockroaches?
Yes, the ones that are in my house.
Yeah, okay. But there's so many different cockroaches that are really cool. Like, have you seen domino cockroaches?
Of course not.
They are adorable. They look like mini dominoes. I have some pet ones. I've named them Oreo, and there's so many because they produce very quickly. But they're tropical roaches, and they're black with little dots on them, so they look like mini dominoes, and they're adorable. And sometimes I'll have tea parties with my domino roaches, and they'll eat bananas in little tea saucers, and it's great.
I mean, I love that. I still don't know if I would like it if they were in my house. I try really hard to like I see a spider in the house. I'm like, all right, you have to go outside because you can't live in here, but I'm not gonna kill you. Like that's my like general goal for most bugs. But there are some bugs that like I just like fire ants. I wish they would all die forever. Do you have any saving graces for a fire ant?
I mean, I just think they're cool because they're insects, but I will admit that, like, when it comes to mosquitoes, I will, even though I have raised a mosquito, I have love for mosquitoes. They give us chocolate because they pollinate the cocoa plant. I will kill mosquitoes.
Fair.
I do kill them.
Yeah. I mean, they're very annoying.
Yeah.
Like besides the biting, which is unpleasant, just the buzzing. The buzzing is terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you know why they buzz?
Of course I don't.
So it's a mating call. What's cool is they will, when they find their mate, they will change the pitch of their buzzing to harmonize with each other. It's a love song. They're having duets with other mosquitoes.
That is very sweet. Unfortunately, they're almost never having a duet that I hear because they are singular in my house by themselves, and I'm trying to find out where the noise is coming from. So
they're just singing that song, trying to find their lost lover.
That's super fair. Well, they do die once they enter my house,
yeah.
So they will never find said lost lover. This is someone asked this question on my Patreon. It is my favorite question I could possibly ask you because I think you're really going to enjoy it.
Okay.
If you could get shrunk down, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids style, what like bug community would you want to move in with?
Leaf insects. I have thought about this.
Right, why leaf insects? Are these the ones that like look like leaves?
Yeah. Okay. They look like leaves. They're incredible. I love them. But like an insect that looks like leaves. Okay, I also love Lord of the Rings, so I feel like leaf insects are the closest I could get to an ant.
Okay.
They like leaves. Also, okay, you know how the ants lost the ant wives? Mm-hmm. Leaf insects are experiencing a similar thing because they mimic leaves so well, the females are having a hard time finding the males. So they have, through evolution, have developed the ability to produce asexually because they just can't find the males because they look too much like leaves. They're losing them.
That is very ant-style behavior.
Yeah.
That's delightful.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's so good. I'm not surprised that you had a question locked or answer locked and loaded for that. Someone did want to know your favorite ant species.
Ooh, I really like leafcutter ants because I also like fungus. And leafcutter ants, basically, they go cut the leaves, but the leaves are poisonous to them, like they're toxic. So what are they doing with the leaves? They're using them as compost to grow fungus gardens underground. Now, like, they're little farmers. That's amazing. I love growing fungus, and these ants do too. We have something in common.
Incredible. Um, can I tell you a bug story?
Yes.
Okay, so when I was little, I used to go to this little like community thing. Think Dirty Dancing, basically like kids running around. But we had this pavilion, and it was mostly like rocks and dirt, and there were ant lions in the pavilion. And so my friends and I obviously would get ants and drop them into said antlion domes so that then there would just be like the puff of smoke as like the ant is just ripped underground. Absolutely amazing every single time. Thoughts on antlions?
I love them. I have also done similar things. They're just fascinating to watch. And like
Yeah.
sometimes I look at stuff like that and like evolution got there somehow. I don't know how, but that's incredible.
Yeah, it's super fun. If anyone on here has never seen an antlion, it kind of looks like the ear bug in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. If you can get them, you can kind of get them out. Like you can trick them by like putting a stick in, and they'll latch onto the stick. And if you pull off the right moment, but that's not nearly as fun because like, but yeah, it's just like it's like a little, like a perfect little like concave thing. There's definitely a cylinder. Nope, that's not it. It's one of the words. But
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
a
it does
cone.
this. Yes, it's a cone. That's the word. It's a perfect little cone that when an ant falls in, it can't get out, and the antlion can feel the vibrations, and so it just like pops up and eats the ant, and it's amazing every single time. One of my like the worst things was they like filled in the whole pavilion with rocks, and I was like, but my antlions, I want to go feed them. But yeah, there's if you've ever played, oh man, I don't know what the sim game was that was ants. Ant Sims, whatever it was called. There were ant lions in that as well. Have you never played? There was a Sims
I have
game that
not,
was
but I
ants.
am intrigued.
Yeah, you built an ant community. I'm going to look it up now because I don't remember what it's called. Ant Sims game. No, not why. Why would that not be the first thing that came up? All right, well, it's all about Sims 4 and how to get famous. Thanks, Google, and your great search services. Anyway, there was a Sims game. I don't know if it was officially Sims, but you played as ants, and one of the dangers was falling into an antlion pit.
That's so cool.
Let's see. Where I wrote it down. Oh, your favorite tiny bug and why?
Favorite tiny bug? I love giraffe weevils. They look wacky. So they're bright red and they have really, really long necks, hence the name giraffe weevils. But what's fantastic is the males will use their long necks to fight each other like giraffes do. So they'll just whack each other with their long necks, and then the females will stand on the side and act as a referee to be like, yeah, that one's cool. You're going to be my mate now. It's so funny, but I love it.
Amazing. What about big bugs? I don't know how big, like, I don't know what qualifies as a big bug.
Well, there's a lot of big bugs. I really like, okay, so I actually have the second largest butterfly in the world. It's a Goliath birdwing butterfly. The female's wingspan can get up to 11 inches, which is incredible. I really like those big bugs. There's also like the Atlas moth, which is a traditional, like the largest moth in the world, at least by mass. But yeah, pretty cool.
You do have, I think you got, I was following the series and now my brain is instantly like, did Nicole get Goliath beetles or not? I'm like
I
fairly
did.
confident you did. Yeah, I was gonna say
Yes.
like I remember following the series of like you were trying to get Goliath beetles, and there's a waiting list for them, and you were real excited when you finally got approved.
I did, and I got them, and I've raised them, and it was fantastic. I actually I kept their cocoons because beetles make cocoons, and they're like little 3D printers with clay, making little clay dinosaur eggs to go through metamorphosis in, and it's incredible. But I got the Goliath beetles, raised them to adulthood. I had a male and a female. I tried to put them on a date. We're not a fan of each other, so that did not go well.
What do beetles metamorphosize into?
Well, so they
Other
start
shade of
as
blue?
like larvae, which is just the beginning for it. Almost looks like a weird. It's the grubs that you find in the
Mhm.
ground while gardening. Looks like a weird worm thing. Uh, Although, okay, I can't call them worms because I just read a vintage entomology book and there was an entire chapter of him complaining about people calling grubs worms. So they aren't worms, but they do
They
kind of
look
resemble. Yes.
like worms. Yeah.
Yes. And then they'll go through metamorphosis and change into their adult beetle form.
Amazing. I love it. I know one of the other things that you also routinely do on TikTok that I really love is get confused, and I understand that that might not be like a thing that's fun for you, but go. Yes.
I call them autism jokes. I find it very amusing after it's explained to me, but yes, it does happen quite often.
Yeah, turns of phrases and like idioms
Uh-huh.
trip you up pretty
Yes.
regularly 'cause you take the things literally. And I always enjoy a good video where you're like, "Hey, why would a smile light up a room? There's no light coming off of my teeth." And I'm like, "This is great." I can't wait to just like get into the comments and see because inevitably there are comments that'll be like, "Yeah, it means this or
Yeah.
whatever," but it also like it means someone is excited to see you, right? But then also there are people like, I've also always wondered this, and it's such a like delightful learning experience.
Uh-huh.
Is not of just like you get to share in a much broader like because you have such a large audience, you can share these like I don't understand what this phrase means, and there's so many people that are like, yeah, right there with you. I don't know what
Right?
it means either.
Just building community in confusion. It's great time.
Yeah. It's wonderful. Like you have built like this really cool community. Like you said, you have people that hate bugs that follow you. You have people that like really enjoy your autism tools that you share. Obviously, people that love bugs, I'm sure as well.
Uh-huh.
Like how impactful has that community building been for you, and like what you've been able to do?
Oh, it's been huge with opening up resources. It's gotten me to like in my living situations, being able to live like I still live with like an aide that helps me out. My roommate's amazing, but like to get where I am, where I'm a little more independent and not having to be in like a group home. So that's been amazing. Opening up resources, uh, just people sharing different tools with each other has been great. And yeah.
I mean, I assume you realize like how impactful you have been for folks
Hmm.
in your version, but without the audience. I imagine people reach out pretty regularly to like thank you for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, like that's it's got to feel great. Like I'd make silly content on the internet, and periodically people will be like, "It really means a lot to me," and it makes me cry.
Uh
I have to imagine that things that are like actually helping
huh.
people are incredible. Uh,
Yeah. It's been really awesome, and it's it feels great to be able to just like give back to the community, and then when I need help, they give back to me, and it's I like it a lot. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like periodically you will go through points where like you're just not posting at all
Yeah.
because you have like hit your limit and you're like I got to go cocoon up and
Uh huh.
I'll be back in a bit. And I think like the only downside I think is probably that people are so concerned about you that they're like I'm sure commenting on like old videos like, "Hey, are you okay?"
Uh
Which I
huh.
know like has to feel good, but also then is a lot of pressure of like, "Oh, I have to go interact with this because people are worried."
Uh-huh. Once in a while, I've just posted like a photo, just being like, "I'm alive. I'm just cocooning. It's fine."
Uh, all right, other bug things. How do you feel about Australia and their bug situation? They got wild bugs down there.
I'm a little jealous of their bug situation. Like, okay, yes, it's nice that where I live, not every bug is trying to kill me on purpose or on accident, but they have good bugs over there and good arachnids, and they're amazing, and the biodiversity is fantastic.
I mean, they're such big spiders. They're so upsetting. How do you love a giant spider?
Well, I think it's just another animal with more legs and some pretty cool, abilities. But like producing silk, which is the second actually strongest natural substance on Earth. The first being the teeth of snails, but
No, hold on. We can't move past that yet. I'm sorry. The teeth of snails are the strongest natural substance.
yes, they're stronger than diamonds. Not harder than diamonds, but they can withstand more pressure than a diamond. So they're the strongest natural substance. It's kind of
You know
similar to
what's
the tongue of a cat. They're called the radula.
you know what's so wild about that? Up until whatever 20 seconds ago, I didn't know teeth had or snails had teeth. So
Do you want to know how many teeth they can have?
I super don't, but I would like you to tell me anyway.
Oh, it's fantastic. Some species can have 20,000 teeth.
That's too many teeth. They're so little.
It's so cool. They use it to like grind up minerals.
All right. So snail teeth, wild. But sorry, we were on spider silk.
Oh, yes. Spider silk, which is, for a long time, they did think it was the strongest natural substance, but then snail teeth came along and they're like, oh. But yeah. But I like spiders. Growing up, I had a pet black widow for quite a few years. That was amazing. We had a pet cat face spider also that lived in our bedroom, not contained. We would just throw insects up there. And then my mom decided to be nice one day and do laundry and was like, nope, I'm never going in your bedroom ever again.
I mean, I understand there is a loose spider in there, and a black widow, which I assume that one was contained.
That one was contained. Yes.
Yeah. I'm shocked that you could. How do you get a black widow as a pet? Do you find it and keep it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we found like a juvenile black widow, and then we raised it. She was gorgeous. The biggest pain is you have to remove the egg sacs regularly because you don't want a bunch of baby black widows everywhere.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, that happened in my last apartment.
Black widows specifically, or other spiders?
Yeah, my brother had to stay with me for a little bit. Brought his pet black widow. Forgot to remove the egg sac. So then, for the entire rest of the year that I lived there, I was just having to deal with black widow babies. But luckily, they're not poisonous as a baby, so that was fine. So I could handle them, try to get them outside. But it was so many. I do feel a little bad after moving out of that apartment that because I did not tell them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you definitely shouldn't follow up with a landlord and be like, hey, just an FYI, I may have let loose an army of black widows in the wall.
Yes. Yep.
I look, there's no way that this is possible, but I just want the person who moved into your apartment to be watching this video and be like, hey, wait a minute. Is that why there are so many black widows here? It would be amazing.
That'd be so funny.
So, all right, we've got. I was gonna say Oreo, but that's not it. The cockroaches.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Domino cockroaches.
Yes.
That's it. Your giant beetles, black widow spiders. What other bug pets do you have?
I've had
rocking around?
Variety of pet beetles. I've had Goliath beetles, Hercules beetles, blue death feigning beetles. I've had a variety of cockroaches.
Yeah.
Moths.
Blue Death feels like an indication that they should not be kept as pets.
Okay, they're actually super friendly. They just pretend to die, so they're like a
Okay.
possum.
Got it.
So
They don't
sometimes,
cause death. They
yeah,
pretend to be.
yeah.
Got it.
They look like little
Yeah.
blueberries with legs. And then every time I would put food in their tank, they would get scared and just like, and then it's like a goat. When you scare a goat, that's what they're like. Yeah, they get all stiff, and you just have to wait.
That's incredible. What? Sorry, I interrupted. We were on beetles, and cockroaches.
Yeah.
Are there dream bug pets that you want?
I really want a jungle nymph. They're gorgeous, but they live on bramble, and so I'm like, okay, I'd have to figure out how to like keep bramble all year round. So that would be tricky. And also, I live in an old house, and so there isn't a lot of like outlets. They don't have, it's not technically up to code. So I'm like, I can't. I have to choose, do I want internet or stick insects? Yeah.
All right, so I don't know what jungle nymphs are, but I'm guessing based on the end of that sentence, they are stick insects.
Yes.
Cool. I don't know what bramble is either.
It's just like, it's a family of plants. So like raspberry leaves, like they're the spiny plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's so special about the jungle nymphs then? Besides that makes them more special than other stick insects?
Just them specifically. I love the females are a gorgeous green color and super big. I love their movements. They're very slow moving, but they are slightly painful to hold. They feel like little toothpicks, like trying to grip onto you. But they're just gorgeous.
Yeah. This makes me think. I know periodically there will be like bug conventions. Is that the right word for it? Like people like, I'm here with all my bugs. Is that a thing that you love to attend a lot?
Yes. So last year I got to go to Bugfest in North Carolina with my wonderful friend Charlotte. And
Charlotte's great.
I love Charlotte so much. And I get to do that again this year, so I'm really looking forward to that. I love Bugfest.
That's so much. What is Bugfest like? I assume for a lot of people, a nightmare. For you, heaven.
Yes. So the museum was amazing. So I had like my own floor, so it was a lot quieter, but like they share a lot of live insects. You can eat insects, which is pretty cool. Just a lot of booths that are sharing like education around insects and a lot of demonstrations and insect art, and it's a good time.
Amazing. And that's in North Carolina every
year?
Yeah. I love that. It's Bugfest. Incredible. Yeah, I mean, is there also opportunity at Bugfest to like take home some bugs, or is it all like educational?
It's mostly educational. I'm not familiar if you can take home like live insects there. I know like at oddity shows usually that's more where they are like live insects. But yes.
And at least like for the live insect parts, you do get to handle them at some booth, which you enjoy.
Yes.
One of the other things, like obviously we talked a little bit about your art, but like people send you bugs to paint.
Yeah.
And obviously, like also you have a lot of bugs behind you. I think are those all bugs behind you, or are some of them paintings of bugs?
These are all bugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much wall space do you have left? Very little.
Yeah, I have a wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's more bug space available. That's great. Yeah. What's it like getting? How do people mail you bugs? How does mailing bugs work?
A lot of times, sometimes they'll come just like straight in the frame. Sometimes people will just like throw them between like paper towels and boxes and send them that way, and then I'll preserve them. Sometimes they'll just send them in jars or Tupperware, but yeah.
And then often, like I've seen in your process, you basically like pin them up to a thing and then paint them. And like it is, I mean, I would say like you are remarkably talented.
Oh, thank you.
At I mean, a lot of things, but specifically painting, like to the point where like there are times when you've shown a painting and I'm like, bug or painting, and then like you're like paint, and it's one of those where like it's painting, not bug.
Yes, that's where the tradition of slapping my paintings started.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that people know they're not squishable bugs.
Yes.
Yeah, it's super fun. I know you also have done cicadas, right? That's the series.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you love ribs of cicadas, but can you tell us about cicadas?
Yeah. So when I went to North Carolina, because the periodical cicadas were emerging, and there was a really special event because both the 13-year and 17-year cicadas were emerging at the same time, which is really cool. It's like a once-in-a-lifetime event. Went and collected a bunch of the cicadas, brought them home, preserved them, and turned them gay by painting their wings rainbow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Are there? I don't know. I was about to ask you if there are gay bugs.
Oh,
and then
absolutely.
I was like, did you know? And then I was like, Nicole would know.
Yes.
This is just a natural occurrence, I assume, in
Mm-hmm.
wildlife.
Yeah, there's a lot of like asexual bugs. We have the lesbian bugs. We have tran bugs. Like all the bugs. The bugs are queer allies.
There's merch for you there, right? Just like the bugs are queer allies.
Yeah.
I know periodically. I don't. You do have merch. You have like a fancy bag shirt. That like you could get. It's one of those things that like I've had very little as well of like a little bit of as well where people are like, I want a thing you said on a piece of clothing, and I'm like, what do you mean? It's the weirdest thing in the world, right? Like, at what point into opening packages where you're like, oh, I could monetize free presents that I get from people even better than I already am? And that's not a criticism. It's absolutely a thing you do.
Okay, because I said it's a fancy bag once as a reaction. Everyone was like, okay, you have to do this every time now. I was like, I guess this is a thing now. And then after, I think it was like almost 6 months of just every video I posted, they would comment being like, please make merch of it's a fancy bag. I was like, fine, I'll do this. So then I did it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird. Not that like you in specifically.
No, it's just a weird experience.
Concept.
Yeah.
Like I think I have stickers somewhere on my desk that are buried underneath other things that are like things that I said that I then put on a sticker. And it's like, all right. Yeah, it's super strange. I know you mentioned you love Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
I'm gonna be playing against Don Marshall. It's your Lord of the Rings bag.
Very excited.
In a charity one-shot Wednesday night, which is if you're watching this video, it's too late. It already happened. But one of my favorite things to do is to make up incorrect Lord of the Rings facts to share with Don. Because he gets so flustered.
Yeah.
Because I get them like so close to being right. And then just like twist the knife at the last possible second of just like I've said a bunch of things. I'm like, Viggo Mortensen wasn't originally cast as Aragorn. It was Eric Stoltz, which all of that sentence until Eric Stoltz is correct. And Eric Stoltz was originally cast as Marty McFly in Back to the Future, so that's why like the joke works. But just like to watch his face to just be like, no, that's not right. Do you do people do that to you and bugs, or are
Yes.
people nicer to you?
No,
No, they're
okay,
not.
okay. I'm gonna rat out my roommate for a second. Sometimes, once in a while, after like I'm kind of coming to from like an autistic meltdown and I'm still kind of out of it, sometimes I have a hard time like verbalizing things. And so she will tease me by saying insect facts slightly wrong. And they're facts I know she knows because I've repeated them so many times. And I'm just like trying to get my words out. Yeah. Or frantically typing on my like doing AC device, like, no. It's pretty great.
That feels, I don't know if that's the meanest thing ever or super funny. It might be both.
It's super funny. It's like an inside joke between us, but yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, oh man, it's the most fun to mess with someone who deeply loves a thing, and just like almost get a thing right and then mess it up intentionally. I will say, like, this is one of my favorite things I did, which was Don texted me. I don't remember what was happening, but he was like, "Hey, we're gonna be out of town," he and his wife Nat, for like a week. I don't remember what was the context of why we were texting about it, but so then the day he was like, "We're not gonna have cell service." I was like, "Great." So the day he left, I made a video where I claimed to be the obscure Lord of the Rings sex guy, and then just watched people tag him in the comments for like 5 straight days. Because he couldn't check it until he got like 5 days later, and then I got a text from him. He's like, "Yeah, it worked." And I was like, "Yeah, I got you good." I knew you would come back to dozens of notifications of people just being like,
funny.
"You're stealing this from Don Marshall," and I was like, "I've never heard of him." That's delightful. Yep. I'm gonna miss TikTok a lot.
Yeah, same.
Have you tested out any of the other like things?
Blue Sky. I was already on Instagram. Trying the Red Book app.
Yes. Yeah. Red.
I have no idea what is being said on there. My roommate's helping me out. So
yeah, I downloaded it today. I have not been able to log in yet, because the PIN number when I requested it, it took like 5 minutes to send, and so by the time I put it in, it was like, "No, that's not it." Like, all right, well, I guess I'll try again later. Anyway, if people haven't seen it, it is fully in Mandarin. It's it seems to be, the context of it is people are mad at Congress, which is fair.
Yes.
And so to spite them, instead of going to an American company like TikTok and ByteDance that like has its American branch, they are just going straight to
China.
Straight to China, which is definitely a choice.
It's a good time. I already met my Chinese spy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. Yeah, losing TikTok is gonna. I had all these plans for this channel, like the Patreon, whatever. This year, I was gonna hire an editor, and I was like, well, a lot of that was really incumbent on me having the monetary access of what I get on TikTok. When that goes away, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's say, I mean, obviously, like, we've got a little bit of time left, but like, if people want to follow you on the other places, is it Sound of the Forest basically everywhere?
Basically everywhere it's Sound of the Forest. Unless you specifically, like on Instagram, there's Sound of the Forest, an account that I will periodically remember exists and posts on, or there's like my art account, which is just Nicole Parrish art. But yeah, everywhere else, Blue Sky, Sound of the Forest.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, I also imagine, I mean, it used to, I know it used to be, certainly probably still true, that if you just search like autism and bugs, you're probably the first thing to come up.
I do. When you Google autistic girl who likes bugs, I come up. Also, if you Google cicada ribs, you can find me that way.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always funny. Like, I will occasionally hit that because like I do interviews with like people from Dimension 20
Uh-huh.
and specifically crew from Dimension 20, and so like they don't have like a huge online presence, and so like if you search their name, my interview with them comes up before like their personal website, and I'm like, that shouldn't be right. That doesn't feel the thing. Like that can't be it. But
So
it's a
funny.
very strange little thing.
Uh-huh.
I know one of the things that we connected over. I was going to reach and grab it, but I cleaned my desk and I don't know where it is now.
The
Was like
bugs.
a bug TTRPG
Yes.
booklet. From Lemon something, Lemon Honey. That might be it. I don't know what they're called, but obviously you got to play it, which meant like magic bugs. Magic bugs. I don't know where. How was it? What's
It's great. I love it. I really love any like role playing game, and fitting insects in there, or any card game. I also play Magic the Gathering. I
I
have.
assume you a bug deck.
I do. I do. I
Yeah.
love destroying people with ants.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Are ants green or black?
I have a mixture because I also
Okay.
use arachnids, which are mostly black. So
Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense. I got to play a Commander game for the first. I played Magic when I was in high school, which is now well over 20 years ago, which is a real bummer. But at PAX West, I got to play some Commander with folks, and it's so much fun. And I was like, I gotta play this game more. But also, who am I going to play it with? And
that is
also,
the problem.
like, do I want to spend that much money on Magic the Gathering cards again? Because I did when I was in high school spend a lot of money on it. But it is fun. And yeah, is there a bug commander?
There's. I've used a fungus-based commander, or it's more spores, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean that feels on brand. Just like spores, fungus, bugs, just like all coming together to really ruin someone's day. Oh, so delightful. Okay. What's coming up for, like, obviously, like, we're losing TikTok in 6 days. I still don't know if it turns off in 6 days, because most people seem to think like it's gonna be there and you just won't be able to update it, and so eventually it will stop working. But like at the Supreme Court, they're like, as far as I understand, it's just going to turn off, and not the Supreme Court justices, because obviously they didn't understand anything there. The lawyers said that, and I was like, wait, when is it? And also, do I get paid for this month? Like, when it gets turned off? Like, because like I was like, oh man, because I'm doing this charity fundraiser stuff this month, and so I was like, oh, I think I have like a really good idea to like, because I sometimes post rage bait videos to make money to give to charity, not to just like. And so I was like, I think I have a really good one with like a making a really bad grilled cheese, because people would be really mad like if you make food poorly on the internet. And I was like, I don't want to do all that work and like waste food if then TikTok is like, yeah, we're not paying Americans this month. Like, you don't get money. You banned us. So anyway. People should follow you everywhere else. Obviously, people should go to your art website and buy your art. Is it? There's just paintings that are available, right?
Yeah, there's paintings, sculptures, a whole bunch of random creations on there that can be found. You can request commissions if you want a specific insect. But yeah.
Yeah, and do you have any like favorite commissions that have come in, like requests?
Okay, my favorite commissions have been family portraits, but in the form of insects. So each of the family members picks like an insect. They had just had a baby, and they had the baby be a dung beetle because it rolls dung, and they're like, this baby poops all the time, so it fits. I was like, this is amazing. So just had them like all lined up as if they're doing a family portrait, but it's all bugs. It was great.
That's so good. So there you go, folks. If you want a family portrait, but as bugs, which is, forget the like Bob's Burgers-ification. Like, nobody needs that. Those are done. The new 2020, those are out. 2025 in portrait as bugs.
Insect portraits.
Insect portraits. Nicole, this has been absolutely delightful. This is Do you have give me another bug fact to close us out?
Uh, okay. This one technically, I do really enjoy this one, but technically, pill bugs are not insects. They are a crustacean, or but they are a type of arthropod. But one cool thing is they don't have a urinary tract, but they have to get rid of the excess ammonia somehow. So what do? They turn it into gas. So basically, they fart their urine.
Absolutely incredible. There couldn't be a better way to end this interview. I don't know how to end an interview, so I'm just going to hit stop recording. Bye.